See, yesterday we discussed overview of computer software. Today, overview of manual testing. See, overview of manual testing. See, in this chapter, I will explain learning objectives for manual testing. This is roadmap for our program. It is only roadmap for our program. Later, we will discuss each and every concept in detailed manner. Today, only roadmap. Next week onwards, we will discuss each and every concept in detailed manner. See, first chapter index, introduction, next SDLC models, next software test levels, next put mute test types, next test design techniques, next software test process, or you can say STLC, software testing life cycle. Next, software test documents, See, today overview of manual testing, roadmap for our manual testing training program. See, first introduction, software testing. What is software testing? You know, software testing can be done in two ways. One is manual testing. Another way is, tell me Silpa, software testing. Tell me Ritu.
Automation testing.
See, software testing can be done in two ways. One is manual testing. Another is automated testing or test automation. Automated testing, or you can say test automation. What is manual testing? Testing computer software manually in order to find defects. Testing computer software manually in order to find defects without using any tool or any automation script. Next, what is automated testing or test automation? Testing computer software by using any automation tool or automation script. Okay, na Parmita? Find the difference between software testing and manual testing. Manual testing is one of the way to conduct software testing. Manual testing is one of the way to conduct software testing. You can conduct software testing in another way also, that is automated testing. Okay, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay, software testing can be done in two ways. One is manual testing, another is automated testing or test automation. Okay, next, SDLC models. Today only brief introduction, roadmap, SDLC models. Software development life cycle models. Actually, it is development concern, but testers also need to familiar with SDLC. Why? Software testing is part of software development. Software testing is part of software development life cycle. See, in software development life cycle, some phases are there. Requirements gathering, analysis and planning, design, coding, after coding, testing, after testing, release and maintenance. See, in SDLC, software testing is one of the part. So we need to familiar with SDLC models. Okay. In the IT industry, we have so many SDLC models available. So many SDLC models. Jahra, can you give one or two examples for SDLC models? Jahra, can you hear me? Uh, Ritu, can you give one or two examples for SDLC models?
Yes, sir. It's a waterfall model, V
Yes.
model, and agile model.
Yes, waterfall model, V model, agile models. Agile is not single model. In agile, so many methodologies are available. For example, extreme programming, XP, next Scrum, etc. Okay. See, in the IT industry, we have so many SDLC models. Model selection depends on company and project. We can segregate them into two categories. We have so many models, but we can segregate them into two categories. First one, sequential. Sequential models. Example, waterfall model, next famous V model, etc. See, in this model, sequential software development process happens. Sequential software development. Next, another is important one, incremental or iterative models. Incremental or iterative models. For example, spiral model, agile models. See, in agile development, so many methodologies available. Famous methodologies, XP, extreme programming, next Scrum, etc. Say, incremental or iterative models are expensive, but success rate is very high. You need to familiar with at least two models from each category. Next, our direct topic, software test levels. Software test levels. Mayank, can you tell me how many levels of testing available? How many levels of testing?
Testing done by the developers, like unit testing. Then testing done by the main testers, like functional testing.
Functional testing is not test level. Functional testing is test type. Test type. Unit testing is test level. Okay, put mute. Paramita Rai, tell me levels of testing. How many levels?
Sir, unit testing, integration, system testing, acceptance testing, and like end user alpha beta testing.
Alpha beta testing is part of acceptance testing.
Part of acceptance testing. Yeah.
Okay, put me out. Go. See, for independent applications, 4 levels of testing. For distributed applications, 5 levels of testing. See, generally we have 4 levels of testing. First one, unit testing. Unit testing. What is unit testing? Testing individual units or components. Testing individual components. Here, testers. See, testers may vary from one level to another, but testing concept is same, purpose is same, but testers may vary from one level to another. In unit testing, testers are developers. See, developers conduct unit testing using white box design techniques. White box design techniques. Next, integration testing. Integration testing. See, testers. See, no restrictions. Some companies using developers as testers in this area. Some companies independent testers. No restrictions. See, developers are independent testers. What is integration testing? Testing integration or interfaces between components. Testing integration or interfaces between components. Interactions to different parts of the system. See, testing integration or interfaces between components and interactions to different parts of the system, such as operating system, file system, hardware, etc. Next level, system. No, Mayank, this is the sequence. First unit testing, next integration testing, next system testing, last one acceptance testing. Any confusion, Mayank? Okay. See, sequence. Okay, Mayank. First unit testing, next integration, next system testing. System testing. Here testers. Tell me, Sophia, testers. Guess who are the testers in this area? System testing.
The manual testers, sir, like basically after the development is over, they do the system testing.
Okay, not manual testers. Manual or automation. You can use manual process or automated process for system testing, no restrictions. Independent testers. Independent testers. What is system testing? Testing an integrated system. Testing an integrated system to verify that it meets specified requirements. Testing an integrated system to verify that it meets specified requirements. See here, independent testers use black box test design techniques. Put mute Ritu. Whenever you want to ask any question, then unmute it. See, independent testers conduct system testing using black box test design techniques. Independent testers verify external behavior of the system, not internal code. But in unit testing, developers verify internal code. Okay. Next, acceptance testing. Acceptance testing. See, user acceptance testing is part of acceptance testing. In this area, we have some subsets. User acceptance testing, operational acceptance testing, operational acceptance. Next, certification testing, etc. Important one is user acceptance testing. User acceptance testing. Tell me, Swapna, testers in this area. User acceptance testing. Testers.
Sir, no idea, sir.
No idea. Okay. Jahra. Okay, Mayank. Jahra, can you hear me? Rashmi.
Hello, sir. Yes, sir.
Pardon?
The end users.
End users. Okay.
End
Okay.
users.
Good. See, user acceptance testing. In this area, testers, customers, customer side people, or you can say end users. Next, operational acceptance testing also there. See, prime area, user acceptance testing. Next, some more types, some more testings also there. Operational acceptance. See, system administrators. System administrators. System administration staff conduct this type of testing. They check installation process, uninstallation process, and coexistence with other softwares, etc. Next, data backup and recovery operations. Next, certification testing. Say, some software products require certification. Here, testers are certified testers. Certified testers means not IST, QB, IST, ECS, TECS, QE, etc. Certified testers means who knows industry standards and local government rules and regulations. Testers. Certified testers. See, important area is user acceptance testing. Verifying whether the system is acceptable or not with respect to business requirements. Okay. See, 4 levels of testing for independent applications. See, if it is business distributed application, yesterday only we discussed about distributed applications. That one, entire architecture, multi-tier applications. For distributed applications, See, for distributed applications, 5 levels of testing. 5 levels of testing. What are the 5 levels? Unit testing as usual. Next, after unit testing, see general, just a minute. See, for general, or you can say independent, no dependency applications, 4 levels. 4 levels of testing. This is formal. Some companies may not follow formal process, that is different. Unit testing. After unit testing, component integration testing. Component integration testing. Next, after component integration testing, system testing. Next, after system testing, again integration testing, system integration testing. Interactions with other systems, system integration testing. Next, final one, as usual, acceptance testing. See, for general or independent applications, 4 levels of testing. For distributed applications or multi-tier applications, 5 levels of testing. Tell me, Sophia, 5 levels of testing for distributed applications. What are the 5 levels?
Unit testing, component integration testing, and system testing, and system integration testing, and acceptance testing.
Good, good. See, this is a brief introduction about test levels. Test levels. Any queries, Paramita Rai? Raise queries?
No, sir. Query.
Okay. See, SDLC models, software test levels. Next one, first introduction, second SDLC model, third test levels, fourth one, software test types. Test types. See, as per industry standards, 4 types of testing: functional testing, non-functional testing, next re and regression testing, next maintenance testing. That is as per IEEE standards. But industry point of view, 2 types of testing important: functional testing, non-functional testing. See, functional testing, next non-functional testing. Say 80% market area functional testing, 80%. Non-functional testing 15 to 20%. Say security testing also subset of functional testing. See, some are saying security testing belongs to non-functional test type. No, security testing also subset of functional testing. What is functional testing? Verifying whether a component or system's functionality means external behavior, verifying a component or system's behavior or functionality with respect to functional requirements, verifying whether a component or system's functionality with respect to functional requirements. Next, non-functional testing, verifying systems quality attributes or characteristics of the system, verifying systems quality attributes or characteristics with respect to non-functional requirements. Okay, here also some subsets. Tell me, Rashmi, non-functional types.
Performance testing,
Performance testing.
load testing,
Say
spike testing.
load testing, spike testing, endurance testing, all are subsets of performance testing. Okay, performance testing.
Usability testing.
Yes, good. Usability testing. Next, configuration testing. Configuration testing. Next, reliability testing. Reliability testing. Next, recovery testing. Next, localization testing, internationalization testing, etc. See, functional testing, non-functional testing. Jahra, can you hear me? You are not responding. What is the problem?
No, sir, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. See. Next one, next topic, test design techniques. Software test design techniques. What is technique? Why we use techniques? Say, technique, an easy way to perform something. An easy way to perform something. That is technique. Why we use techniques for test design? Mayank, why techniques? Reason also there.
To follow a standard procedure.
For standard procedures, techniques not suitable. See, we use test design techniques. Reason also there. What is the reason? Okay, put mute. Can you tell me, Ritu, why we use test design techniques?
Because actually we cannot test the system with all possible inputs, so we have to follow some techniques.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
See, testing, exhaustive testing is impractical. Testing with all possible inputs and preconditions, that is called exhaustive testing. Testing with all possible inputs and preconditions. Exhaustive testing. Exhaustive testing is impractical. In order to reduce the input domain size, in order to reduce the input and output, we use test design techniques. Okay, na, Paramita? Why we use test design techniques?
it's like we cannot test the whole functionality like by using so many inputs. So we have to follow some specific techniques.
Okay. See, exhaustive testing, real-time term. Exhaustive testing is impractical. What is exhaustive testing? Testing with all possible inputs and preconditions. It is impractical. In order to reduce the input and output domains, we use test design techniques. Okay. See, basically we have two types of test design techniques. In high level orientation, we have two types of test design techniques. One is static techniques. Another is dynamic techniques. Static techniques, dynamic techniques. What is static testing? Testing of a component or system at specification or implementation level without executing of that software. Say, testing of a component or system at specification or implementation level without executing of that software. Example, reviews, walkthroughs, inspection, etc. Say, checking test documentation, just specification without executing the software. See here, techniques are reviews, walkthroughs, next inspection, etc. Jahra, tell me what is static testing?
Hello?
Tell me.
Yeah. It is a testing of components or a system at specification or implementation levels without executing the software.
Yes, without executing the software. That is important. Okay, next, dynamic testing. Testing that involves the execution of the software of a component or system. See, testing that involves the execution of the software of a component or system. Static testing without executing the software. Dynamic testing by executing the software. Here we have three types of dynamic techniques. One is white box. This is developer's concern. Just know the concept. White box test design techniques. White box test design techniques. See, white box. See, the term also meaningful term. Inside the box visible, code visible. Black box, inside code not visible, only external behavior. White box test design techniques. Generally, developers use white box test design techniques for conducting unit testing. Just know the concept. Here some techniques are there. Example, statement testing, next condition testing, next decision testing, multi-condition testing, etc. Next, black box test design techniques. Black box, our area. Say, independent testers conduct testing using black box test design techniques. Black box test design techniques. Tell me, Rashmi, one or two black box test design techniques.
So, equivalence partitioning,
Yes.
boundary value analysis, decision table testing.
Good, good. Swapna, anything else? Rashmi told equivalent partitions, boundary value analysis, decision table testing. Next, any other?
Use case testing, sir.
Pardon?
Use case testing.
Yes, use case testing. Next, one more important thing also there. State transition testing. Okay. See. See, equivalent. Equivalent partitions are equivalent classes. Equivalent partitions are equivalent classes. EC or EP. Next, extension of equivalent partitions, boundary value analysis. Boundary value analysis. Next, decision tables, or you can say decision table testing. Next, state transition testing. Next, use case testing, etc. Next, one more type also there, that is informal. See, white box test design techniques formal, black box test design techniques also formal. Next, informal, experience based techniques. Paramita, can you tell me one or two examples for experience based techniques?
Alpha beta testing?
Alpha beta testing is not experience based. That is different.
No, then I don't know.
Okay, cool. Sophia, experience based techniques. Give one or two examples.
Is it errors? Error based?
Error guessing.
Error guessing, yeah.
See, error guessing. Next, exploratory testing, etc. See, this is a brief introduction about software test design techniques. White box, black box. See, don't confuse. Software test design techniques, two types: static techniques, dynamic techniques. Next, dynamic techniques, 3 types: white box, black box, experience based techniques. Okay, tell me, Jahra, what are the important white box test design techniques?
Conditional testing, design testing,
Decision testing.
decision testing.
First, statement testing, condition testing,
Yes.
decision
Statement,
testing,
condition, and decision.
etc. Next,
Yes.
Swapna, what are the important black box test design techniques?
Equivalent partition techniques,
Equivalent partitions or equivalent classes.
State transition testing, boundary value analysis, and decision tables.
Okay. See, sequence. Equivalent classes or equivalent partitions. Next, boundary value analysis. Next, decision table testing. Next, state transition testing, use case testing, etc. Next, Jahra, experience based techniques. What are the important experience based test design techniques? Informal techniques.
Error guessing. Error guessing. And exploratory testing.
Yes. Okay, put me out. Error guessing and exploratory testing. Okay. Next, important topic, software test process. Software test process or software testing life cycle. Say, what we are going to discuss is formal process as per industry standards. Formal process. Some companies may not follow formal process. That is different. But what we are going to discuss is formal process. See, basically, in formal software test process, we have 4 or 5 phases. 4 phases important. See, phases of software test process. See, first one, test planning. Next, test design. Next, test execution. Test planning, test design, test execution. Next, test closure. See, some are following 5 phases also: test planning, test design, test execution. Next, evaluating exit criteria. Last one, test closure. This is 4 phases. In this fourth phase, test closure, evaluating exit criteria and test closure. See, test planning. See, I will provide brief introduction about software test process. In regular chapters, we will discuss each and every concept in detailed manner. First, test planning. Test planning is phase. Input or references. Input or references for test planning. Next, tasks, important tasks. Next, output. Say input, tasks, output. What are the inputs for test planning phase? Can you tell me, Mayank? Just a guess. What are the input documents or reference documents?
Software requirement specification.
Yes,
project
requirements. Requirements.
Project plan.
Yes, project plan. See, test lead prepares test plan based on project plan. Project manager prepares project plan. Test lead prepares test plan based on project plan. Project, software development project. See, requirements, document name, whatever it might be. If it is SRS or CRS or URS, see, some companies use SRS document. Software requirement specification. Some companies use FRS document. Some companies use CRS, client requirement specification, etc. But widely using term is SRS, software requirement specification, or you can just say generic term requirements. Requirements document, project plan. Next, test strategy. What is test strategy? A high level document, company level document. It's not project level document, company level document. A high level document of the test levels to be performed and the testing within those levels for an organization. See, it provides approach for all test levels and test types, how to conduct functional testing, how to conduct security testing, how to conduct performance testing. Like our test lead and team, our team implements required strategy for our project. Suppose our company test strategy describing 4 levels of testing, 27 types of testing, functionality testing, security testing, performance testing, usability testing, compatibility testing, recovery testing, reliability testing, availability testing, etc. How to conduct different types of testing. But in our project, we are conducting functional and security testing or functional and performance testing. We implement functional and performance testing approach for our project. Okay, test strategy, a high level document of the test levels to be performed and the testing within those levels for an organization. Okay, na Paramita Rai, any confusion? Test strategy?
No, sir. Sir, in test strategy also there's a one word is like scope of test. So what's the meaning of scope?
Scope is different. Strategy is different. Strategy describes approach, how to test. Scope is different. Scope depends on project. Don't confuse. Scope depends on project. For example, banking application is there. Scope is very high. Financial application. ERP application is there. ERP application also important application. ERP, enterprise resource planning, industry automation. Suppose 1 hour or 1 day that ERP application failed. Problem is there, but all that industry resources, employees and all departments under the control of the organization. After rectifying the problem, they can enter the data manually, employee attendance, etc. If it is banking application, suppose transactions, withdrawals, fund transfers, etc. transactions are there. Suppose if banking system fails, customers get dissatisfaction. See, banking application is having more scope than ERP application. See, depends on seriousness. Getting the point, Paramita? Scope is different, approach is different.
Yes, yes, sir.
What about you, Mayank? What is the problem? Mayank.
So I couldn't understand what basically the test approach is. Like you mentioned that test strategy consists of the approach that is to be followed at every test level. So what is this test approach? I'm not
How
sure what
to
test
conduct
strategy.
functional testing? For every organization, strategy is mandatory. How to conduct functional testing? How to conduct performance testing? How to do? Suppose you are going to another city. That is requirement. Going to another city is requirement. How to go? Approach. How to go? By car, by flight, on foot. Based on approach, estimations vary.
Does it include like what tools we're going to use for this particular type of
tools,
testing?
that is tools, the entire different concept. This test strategy only for manual test process. See, tool selection, that is different. Management and team management takes that decision. Here no tool selection like suggestions. Here only how to conduct testing using manual testing methodologies.
Okay, sir.
Automation test strategy, that is different. This is manual test strategy.
Okay.
It describes all test levels and test types within those levels. For example, ours is system testing level. If you want to conduct functional and performance testing for your application. See this, you adapt test approach for functional and performance testing. How to test? See, company level document. Suppose another project test lead implements test strategy for his project. Okay, na, any confusion? Here no tool selection. Tool selection is entire different. That is different concept.
Okay, sir.
Test strategy doesn't describe the tool selection and others. It only describes test levels, test types within those levels. How to do. Okay. See, requirements.
Excuse me, sir. So this test strategy document, this is created during the test planning stage.
No. It is company level document.
Okay.
See, QA lead or any senior management creates that document. It's not project level, first of all. It's not project level document. It is company level document. Suppose in our company, 10 projects running. For 2 projects, functional testing only required. You implement functional testing only, functional testing strategy for those 2 projects. For 3 projects, performance testing also required. Implement test strategy for those 3 projects. See, test strategy describes all levels and all types in the company level document. It is not project level. Any confusion, Rashmi?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Cool. Company level document. Say test strategy, test policy also there. You don't concentrate on test policy. That is philosophy of the company. Test strategy is company level document. Project plan is company level or project level, Mayank?
Project plan is project levels.
Requirements?
Project level.
Project level only. Okay. See, these are the mandatory inputs or references for test planning phase. Next, optional inputs. See, this one, design documents, if available, design documents. Next, corporate standards. Documents, one or more. Next, process guidelines. docs. Suppose we are following any formal process like ISO process or CMMI process, etc. That time process guidelines docs, etc. See, first three mandatory doc references, remaining optional. Tell me, Parmita, what are the input documents or reference documents for test planning phase?
Requirement specifications, project plan, and test strategy.
Mandatory. Next, optional documents or references?
Design documents, corporate standards, and process guideline documents.
Okay. Corporate standards document, process guidelines document, etc. Okay. See. Next, tasks. What are the important tasks in this phase? See. Understanding and analyzing. Understanding and analyzing the requirements. Next, risk analysis, feasible study. Next, test strategy implementation. Test strategy implementation. Adopting testing approach for our project from company test strategy document. Test strategy implementation. Say requirement. Requirement. Suppose going to another city. That is a requirement. Strategy. How to go? By car, by flight, on foot. Based on strategy, estimations vary. Suppose by car 4 hours, by flight 40 minutes, etc. Next, test high level task. Test estimations. Test estimations. See, test estimations in terms of scope, budget, time, and available resources, etc. Here, considerable parameters are scope, budget, time, available human and environmental resources, etc. See, first priority scope of the project. Suppose financial project having higher scope. ERP project also important, but limited scope. Scope. Next, time. Next, available resources. Next, budget, etc. These are the considerable factors for test estimations. After test estimations, two tasks are there. Test plan documentation. Test plan documentation is task. Test planning is phase. In test planning phase, test plan documentation is one of the tasks. Now tell me, Sophia, which one is first? Test plan documentation or team formation?
Planning is more important, then we can plan later after the planning is done.
Which one is first? Test plan documentation or team formation?
Test plan documentation.
No, that is informal. See, formal process is first team formation, then test plan documentation. For test plan documentation, team members' contribution also required. Author of the document, author of the test plan is test lead or team lead only, but all team members' contribution required. See, team formation. Next, test plan documentation. Next, one more thing that is optional but nowadays important, configuration management planning. Nowadays tools also available for configuration management. Without using any tool, manually also you can conduct configuration management. See, configuration management planning. What is configuration management? Actually, configuration management not only for testers, not only for testing team, it is also for all stakeholders of the project. It is more important for developers than testers. See, developers means development team. Development team requires configuration management. Business analyst requires configuration management. Testing team and project management also requires configuration management. Okay, in our testing, what is the role of configuration management? See, first of all, what is configuration management? Can you tell me, Mayank, what is configuration management? Nowadays important.
So when we are building a software, we release various documents, and these documents have our builds, or not only documents but also we have the application which is under test, which is sometimes called build.
Yes, software builds also version control. Okay.
So we have to assign a particular version or configuration number.
Okay.
To distinctively identify these documents or builds. So this is called configuration.
Okay, cool. See, in simple words, configuration management, storing, organizing, and managing all configurable items. Storing and organizing all configurable items is called configuration management. See, forget about development area and other areas. In our testing area, what are the configurable items? See, what software and hardware we use for testing and what documents we produce during testing all come under configurable items. For example, requirements document, test plan document, test case document, test data, defect report, test summary report, all comes under configurable items. See what software and hardware we use for testing and what documents we produce during testing. Those are called configurable items. Storing and organizing all configurable items is called configuration management. Next, see, define one more thing also there, requirements traceability. Creating a requirements traceability matrix. See, simple form RTM, requirement traceability matrix. Creating a requirement traceability document. Say test lead or team lead creates traceability document, but all team members update the document throughout the life cycle. All team members update the document throughout the life cycle. What is the purpose of traceability matrix document? Paramita, what is the purpose of traceability document?
To map the test cases and test data.
Test cases and test data?
Sorry, requirement and test cases.
Yes. Mapping requirements with test cases. That is primary objective of requirement traceability matrix document. Nowadays, some companies mapping requirements with test cases and related corresponding defects also. Requirement, test case. If any defect is there, defect also. But primary objective is mapping requirements with test cases so that we can find all requirements covered or not. Next, any duplicate test cases are there or not. Okay. Next, verify test environment. Verify test environment setup. Say test environment or test lab is required for test execution. Who, not verify, sorry, define. Okay. See here 3 steps. First, define test environment setup. Next, implement test environment. Next, last one, verify test environment. Who defines test environment setup? Test lead. Test lead defines test environment setup based on SRS document. What software and hardware required, like. Next, who implements test environment setup? System administration staff. They know how to install. Test lead knows what to install. System administration staff knows how to install. Next, verify test environment setup. Testers, team members, verify test environment setup at test execution phase. Three steps. Define test environment setup by test lead. Implement test environment setup by system administration staff. Next, verify test environment setup by testers, or you can say team members. Tell me, Mayank, what are the important tasks in test planning phase? Important tasks. Okay, you tell me, Jahra. Continue, Mayank.
Yeah. So to understand the requirement specification thoroughly.
Okay, understanding and analyzing requirements. Next, risk analysis.
Risk analysis, defining a mitigation plan. Resource allocation, time estimation. Creation and updation of requirement traceability matrix.
See, updation throughout the life cycle, not only in this phase. In this phase, only creating.
Right.
Okay, updation throughout the life cycle. Next, configuration management planning. Next, one more important one. Test, define.
A test environment setup.
Good.
Define test environment
setup. Okay. Here, output. Important output is test plan. Test plan What is the problem, Mayank? Test environment setup. For example, our application is web application. We have to test that application on Windows operating environment using Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, and Mozilla Firefox browsers. For documentation, we require MS Office. For configuration management, we require VSS like tool. See, test lead defines these environment setup, what software and hardware required for test lab. For example, one server mission, 5 client missions. In server mission, Windows 2008 server software, MS Office, VSS, etc. In client missions, Windows 7 software, MS Office, and some other utilities, etc. That is defining test environment setup. Any confusion? Okay, Mayank. See, put mute. See, output. Test plan document. Test plan document. See, this is about test planning phase in software test process. Next, test design. Sophia, guess input or references for test design phase.
Is it test plan, sir?
First,
test
requirements mandatory, na?
Yeah, requirements and then the
requirements mandatory for all levels, all phases of software test process. Requirements. Okay. Project plan not required. Test strategy not required. Next.
Test plan, sir.
Test plan. Test plan. Next. Requirements. Test plan. Next. These optional documents. Here also optional. Here also optional. And one template. Suppose we are not using any tool, test case template required. Suppose if we use any tool like ALM or Jira, they provide templates, test case template, test data template. See, some companies use single template for test case and test data. Some companies use different templates for test case and test data. Anything else, Paramita? Requirements, test plan, next design docs, corporate standards, process guidelines, etc. Next test case template, test data template. Anything else?
Test scenarios.
Test scenario, task, output. It's not input. We have to derive test scenarios from requirements in this phase.
Okay.
Don't confuse. We have to derive test scenarios from requirements. Okay. Tell me, Rashmi, what are the important tasks in test design phase? Just guess.
Creating test scenarios.
Yes. See, creating test scenarios.
Then test case documentation.
Yes, test case. See, test scenario, test case. Test scenario is superior. What is test scenario? An item or event of a component or system an item or event of a component or system means individual component or integrated system. An item or event of a component or system that could be verified by one or more test cases. Example, a feature, a transaction, etc. Okay, test case. One test scenario may have one or more test cases. Test case documentation. Next, test data collection. Why I am using collection term? Some test data we prepare. For example, phone number object is there. It has to take 10-digit numeric values. For that we can prepare test data. Suppose some cities information is there. Cities information. That cities information based on customer business, that we have to collect data from customer. Some test data we have to collect from developers also. That is test data collection. Some test data, preconditions based on requirements, Mayank. Some test data precondition we use in test case document. Precondition, post condition, steps for execution, all are in test case document. Precondition and post condition conditions based on requirements. Okay, Mayank. Okay, you
Sir,
can find.
Sir, I have a question. How we collect test data? How do we know there is a sufficient data for our test case?
For that, you have to follow test design techniques, na?
Okay, sir.
Suppose user ID object is there. As per requirement, it has to take 8 to 16 digit alphabets and alphabets and numeric. Exhaustive testing is not possible. Testing with all possible inputs not possible. That time follow test design techniques. First, divide your input domain into classes, then take boundaries, minimum, maximum, like reduce the test data. But you have to cover all portions, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
See, for test data collection, you follow test design techniques. Not for all types of test data. Only for some input fields, follow test design techniques. Suppose some cities information is there. Customers business available in 5 cities. For that, you no need to use any test design techniques. You can use 5 cities as input. Okay. Next, see, creating test scenarios, test case documentation, test data collection. See, before this, understanding requirements also one of the task. Here, analyzation not required. Understanding requirements. Next, output. Rashmi, output of this page.
So test case documents and test data.
Good. Test case documents, one or more, and test data. Okay. Next, third one, test execution. Test execution. See, input or references. Requirements. Requirements. Next, test plan. Why test plan? Test plan describes exit criteria, entry criteria, suspension criteria, schedule, etc. Test plan. Next, continue Sophia. Requirements, test plan. Sophia, continue.
Test case documents.
Yes, test case documents also required. We have to execute test cases. Test case documents, one or more. Test data. See, these are the mandatory inputs. Next, if we find any mismatch, deviation from expected, we have to report defects. For that, defect report template. Template means format. Documents means format with data. Okay. Defect report template. Suppose if we are using any tool for defect management, for example, ALM or Bugzilla for defect management, tools provide their own templates. If it is manual process, using Excel sheet, you can create or you can use your company prescribed defect report template. Next, some base state required for test execution. Base state, required state for test execution. For example, if it is test case, if it is test design, application under test, AUT, not required, not mandatory. Next, test environment setup also not mandatory. From individual missions also you can design test cases by copying requirements and test plan documents. From individual missions also you can create test cases and collect test data. But for test execution, test environment is mandatory. See, readiness of test lab or test environment. Readiness of test lab. Next, readiness of AUT, application under test. Next, tasks. See, first one, verify before going to execution. Verify test environment setup. Already we discussed 3 steps. Define test environment setup, implement test environment setup, verify test environment setup. Testers or team members verify test environment setup. Verify test environment setup. Next, create test batches. Queue, execution queue. Say test batch or test suite or test set, all are synonyms. Next, test execution. See, don't confuse. Here one test execution is there, selected one. This test execution is phase. See, bottom test execution also there. See, don't confuse. First one, this test execution, selected test execution is phase. Next, this test execution is task. See, test execution. Here we have some levels of test execution. levels of test execution. First level, sanity testing. Sanity testing. What is sanity testing? What is Mayank? What is the problem?
Do you want me to tell you what is sanity testing?
I'm going to tell.
Okay.
See.
I thought you were asking us.
No, not asking. See, sanity testing. First, what is sanity testing? Verifying whether the build is acceptable or not. Build means software build. Verifying whether the software build is acceptable or not by conducting basic functionality tests. Login like basic functionality tests. Verifying whether the build is acceptable or not by conducting basic functionality tests. Another names, see, smoke testing. Some are saying sanity testing is different, smoke testing is different. This is controversy concept. But as per IEEE standards, sanity and smoke synonyms. But some are saying sanity is different, smoke is different. Anyhow, it is controversy concept. See, in IEEE documentation, they used sanity testing, widely using term sanity testing. What is sanity testing? Verifying whether the build is acceptable or not by conducting basic functionality testing. By executing basic functionality tests, verifying whether the build is acceptable or not by executing basic functionality tests. First of all, we need to verify whether the build is acceptable or not. Suppose we received software build, login functionality not working, then we can't forward. If login working, then you can concentrate on remaining functionalities. Another names, BVT, build verification testing, BAT, build acceptance testing. Any confusion, any queries? Mayank Sapra.
Sir, then we have to.
1 minute.
Sir, I have questions. Sir, then we have.
1 minute, Ritu. 1 minute. Continue, Mayank.
No, sir, no query.
Okay, cool. Continue, Ritu.
So then we have to prepare test cases for sanity testing also?
Yes. See, first we create all test cases, then we segregate. We select some cases for sanity testing. Those cases required for comprehensive testing also.
Oh, okay, sir.
We selection. Getting this point?
Right. Sir.
Suppose login functionality is sanity test. That login is required for comprehensive testing, complete testing also. Sometimes login is required for regression testing also. We select test cases for sanity testing. Suppose we prepare 1,000 test cases for our project. Then we select some 30 to 35 test cases for sanity testing. Okay, na?
Basically, check the basic functionality.
Yes, basic functionality. Suppose login is there. Login is basic functionality. Without login, we can't forward.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Suppose forgot password, any other things are there. Forgot password, that is secondary. Okay, that is also important, but not basic functionality. General functionality.
Okay. Right.
Sir. Suppose help link is not working. That is cosmetic functionality. We can check it later. But login is basic functionality.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
See.
Thank you.
Welcome. Sanity testing or build verification testing or build acceptance testing, but widely using term is sanity testing. It is first level of testing. First level of testing. Next, comprehensive testing. Comprehensive.
Can I ask you something, Mr. Reddy?
Yes.
Isn't build very because one of my mentors, the other testing mentors, told me that build verification testing is a kind of testing done by the development team member after deploying the build on the testing server from or the QA server from the development server.
See, already I told this is controversy concept, but as per IEEE, sanity and smoke also synonyms. But some organizations using sanity testing in different manner, smoke testing is different manner. Controversy testing. That's why I told use sanity testing term. First level of testing, verifying whether the build is acceptable or not by executing basic functionality tests.
Okay, sir.
It's a controversy concept. Actually, smoke testing also synonym for sanity testing, but some are saying smoke is different, sanity is different. That is controversy concept. We have to follow.
The only difference what I have noticed so smoke testing is basically done when the build is not robust. The build is in initial stages.
See,
once the build becomes stable, then we do sanity.
Different definitions, but we have to follow industry standards. Otherwise, try to follow your company standards. Sometimes we have to follow our company standards, local standards.
Right.
Sometimes we have to use local terms, company terms. But whenever you go to another company, standard terms are these global terms are important. Okay.
Right, sir.
Cool.
Thank you, sir.
Next, comprehensive testing. What is comprehensive testing? After sanity testing, we conduct comprehensive testing. Testing, executing all possible, detailed testing, Mayank. Executing all possible test cases. Executing all possible test cases. That is comprehensive testing. After comprehensive testing, definitely you can get defects. If you find any mismatch, means deviation from expected, report defects. See, defect reporting. Next, tracking for status, defect tracking. Okay, differentiate. Defect reporting, defect tracking. Okay, some developers fixed first version defects. After that, confirmation testing is required. Retesting and regression testing. First, select test cases for regression testing. Next, this is cycle. Regression testing, cycle 1. See, this regression testing depends on complexity of the application and strength of the development team. After regression, again defect reporting and tracking. Next, same process. Regression testing, cycle 2. At the end, final regression. Here we execute, we select test cases for high defect density areas. Final regression. See, these are the levels of testing. Sanity testing, comprehensive testing, regression testing, final regression. Again, two levels. General regression, final regression. Okay, Paramita, tell me, what are the important tasks in test execution phase of software test process?
So verifying test environment setup, create test batches, and test execution, defect tracking and reporting.
Here, levels of test execution. We have levels of test execution. What are the levels?
First initial level. Initial level of sanity testing or build acceptance testing. And then comprehensive testing. Defect reporting. And the defect tracking. After that, the regression suits and retesting.
Okay. See. See, in sanity testing, we find any deviation from expected or any showstopper bugs, we just reject the build with reason. Next, output. Opened and closed. Opened and closed defect reports. See, closed defect report, okay. Suppose we raised defects, some defects, developers fixed. After fixing, we confirmed confirmation testing. After confirmation, testers only close defects. Closed defects, okay. Raised, fixed, confirmed, closed. But what is opened defect, Mayank? Opened defect means still open, means not fixed or not closed.
So few defects which were not fixed in this release will be released, will be fixed in the further releases or future releases.
Yes.
Will be part of the open defect reports.
Yes. Say sometimes developers postpone some defects. Generally, they postpone cosmetic defects, not severe defects, due to time constraints, etc. That time we need to collect the documents also, opened defect reports. Next, tested software. Next, last phase, test closure. Here, evaluating the exit criteria and test closure. Guess input or reference documents for test closure, Mayank. Input or reference documents for test closure.
So, test results.
Requirements mandatory, already told na.
Requirements document and test results also.
Sometimes we need to cross check. That's why requirements. Next.
Test results.
Test plan. What about test plan?
Your test plan is.
Yes, test plan describes the exit criteria, entry criteria, suspension criteria. Na. See.
Right.
Test plan. Next. Opened, closed defect reports.
Right.
Suppose if we produce any metrics reports during test execution, that metric reports, results report, etc. These are the mandatory. Next one. Okay, put mute. And one template is there. Test summary report template. See, test lead prepares test summary report in this last phase. What is test summary report? A document summarizing testing activities and result. A document summarizing testing activities and result. It also contains evaluation of the corresponding test items against exit criteria. See, summarizing testing activities and result. Okay. Say here what are the important tasks. First, collect all artifacts, all test documents. Next, evaluate the exit criteria. Exit criteria in test plan. It describes when to stop testing. Evaluate the exit criteria. Next, after evaluating the exit criteria, test summary report. Prepare test summary report. Next, sending test deliverables to customer. Okay, testing. Test deliverables. Tell me, Sophia, test deliverables. What are test deliverables? Swapna, what are test deliverables? What documents we produce? Test cases with test results. Not only test cases with test results. What documents we produce during testing? All Commander, test deliverables. Test plan. Oh, okay, Mayank. Welcome. Test plan, test scenarios, test case docs, test data. Next, open and closed defect reports, review reports, test matrix reports, and test summary report. Okay. Next, last one, optional task, improvement suggestions. Improvement suggestions for future projects. See, this is the brief introduction about software test process or software testing life cycle. Next, two more small topics. Software quality standards, 7th one. Software quality standards. Say some non-government organizations providing quality standards. You follow or not follow, that is different. Some non-government quality organizations providing quality standards. Our testing point of view, some quality standards are important. See, quality. Testing improves quality. See, we have so many organizations. Those are providing quality standards. Our testing point of view, 3 organizations important. ISO, International Organization for Standards, Europe organization. Now tell me, Mayank, ISO not only for software industry, it is providing standards for all type of industries. But our software testing point of view, what is the use of ISO?
I'm sorry, sir, I have no clue.
It is providing terminology. Some terms. See, terminology. It is providing terminology. For example, what is verification, what is validation, what is regression testing, some terms. And process guidelines. etc. But ISO not only for software industry, it is for all industries. Next, IEEE. Paramita, what is IEEE? IEEE stands for Paramita.
International Electronics and Electrical Engineering.
Engineers. Okay. It is not for all industries. It is only for 3 industries: aviation industry, next IT industry, and telecom industry. What is the use of what it is providing for IT industry, especially for software testing industry? See, terminology and test documentation standards. See, IEEE is providing 8 test documentation standards: IEEE test plan, IEEE test case, IEEE test summary report, transmittal report, etc. You follow, don't follow, that is different, but they are providing. Next, CMM now scrapped, CMMI launched, capability maturity model integration. CMM scrapped. It is only for IT industry. ISO for all industries, IEEE for 3 industries: aviation, telecom, and IT. CMMI only for IT industry. It providing process. See, these 3 organizations standards important: ISO, IEEE, CMMI. Next, last chapters, last topic, test documents. See, during testing, we create and use some documents. Here I will list out all test documents. In future, we will prepare these documents, but we won't prepare all documents. For example, test policy, test strategy, we won't prepare. We prepare test plan, test scenarios, test case, and defect report for all projects. See, sequence, test policy. This is company level document. One test policy for one company. Test policy always single. Next, test strategy. This is also company level. Test policy, only one. Test strategy. Mayank, what about test strategy? It is also only one for company or multiple?
So it varies from one company to another company.
Okay. Varies from one company to another. One or more. Test policy always one. Only one document for one company. Test policy is only one. But test strategy, yes, one or more.
It may vary from one company to
depends on company. One or more.
Yes.
For example, ours is small company, only one test strategy. Just a minute. Strategy. Suppose ours is large scale company, multiple test strategies. For example, one test strategy for web applications, one test strategy for mobile applications, one test strategy for embedded systems, etc. Segregation. Okay, one or more.
Right.
But multiple test strategy documents not mandatory.
Okay, sir.
Okay, cool. Next, project level. Test plan. This is project level. I will provide definitions in future classes. we will discuss how to
sir,
create.
So, I have a question. Then what's the main difference between the test strategy documents and test plan documents?
Test plan is describing scope, approach, resources, and schedule for one particular project. Test strategy for company. It is for multiple projects.
Okay.
See, test strategy describes testing approach. It can be used for multiple projects. Test plan only for particular project, for single project.
Okay. This is the only difference.
Don't confuse.
Okay, sir. Yes, thank you.
Welcome. See, test plan. Next level, test scenarios. Next, test case. Next, defect report. Here I am indexing important documents. Some matrix documents also there. Some companies use matrix documents, some companies not using. Defect reporting. Just a minute. Test policy, test strategy, test plan. Next, test data. RTM also there. Defect report. Next, test summary report. See, I will send notes, but just listen. First one, test policy. It is only one document for every company, single document, no multiple test policies, only single. What is test policy? A high-level document describes principles, approach, and major objectives of the organization regarding testing. See, testing psychology. A high-level document describes principles and major objectives of the organization regarding testing. Next, test strategy. Tell me, Mayank, what is test strategy? Tell me in your own words.
Strategy. It is also a high-level document used by the company to define the procedure, the approach they are going to follow to perform testing.
Okay. A high-level document of the test levels. A high-level document of the test levels to be performed and the testing within those levels for an organization. Next, test plan. Test plan. Can you tell me, Sophia, what is test plan document? Project level document. Sophia. Rashmi. What is test plan document?
Plan document.
Pardon?
So it contains information about the features that need to be tested, the features that need not be tested, the entry and exit criteria, the roles and responsibilities.
Good. See, a document describing the scope, approach. Here, approach we adopt from test strategy for this project. A document describing the scope, approach, resources, and schedule of the intended activities. See, it describes exit criteria, entry criteria, suspension criteria, next features to be tested, features not to be tested, etc. Okay, next, test scenario. Jahra, test scenario. What is test scenario? Just tell me in your own words. test scenario. Okay, Mayank, test scenario.
Test scenario is basically a document which describes what exactly are we going to test. It basically defines what exactly are we testing.
Okay.
Which feature or which requirement are we testing?
Yes.
Or can be tested.
An item, test scenario, an item or event of a component or system that could be verified by one or more test cases. An item or event of a component or system that could be verified by one or more test cases. Next, what is test case? What is test case? A set of input values, execution preconditions, expected result, and execution post conditions developed for a particular objective or test condition. See, once again, test case, important one. A set of input values, execution preconditions, expected result, and execution post conditions developed for a particular objective or test condition. Next, test data. Test data. Data that exists before a test is executed. Data that exists before a test is executed and that affects or is affected by the component or system under test. Data that exists before a test is executed and that affects or is affected by the component or system under test. Next, last but one, defect report. Can you tell me, Sophia, what is defect report? Ritu, what is defect report? Okay.
Yeah, defect report, it is made up of all the defects which we find during the testing.
Okay. A document reporting of any flaw or mismatch. A document reporting of any flaw in a component or system that can cause the component or system to fail to perform its required function. Okay, last one, test summary report. Mayank, test summary report. What is test summary report? Test lead prepares test summary report.
Test summary. Yes, sir. Test lead prepares a test summary report once the testing is finished. It entails how the testing has performed, what all defects has been raised. It is basically a collection of various testing artifacts that were created.
Okay.
And
see, test summary report. Test lead or team lead, test lead prepares this document. A document summarizing testing activities and result. A document summarizing testing activities and result. It also contains evaluation of the corresponding test items against exit criteria. A document summarizing testing activities and result. Suppose we prepared 900 test cases for our project. Prepared test cases 900, executed 892, passed in first cycle, defects raised in first cycle, defect fixed, closed, etc. Summarizing. A document summarizing testing activities and result. Okay. See, this is a brief introduction about manual testing, means overview of manual testing. For freshers or beginners, these concepts are enough. Suppose if you want to put any experience, some domain knowledge also required. Just a brief idea. Domain knowledge. And one more thing, we discussed 4 phases of software test process. In first phase, test planning, primary role test lead. Last phase, test closure, primary role test lead. Middle 2 levels, middle 2 phases, test design and test execution, primary role testers. Test lead provides guidance and control, but primary role testers. First phase, test planning, primary role test lead, but all team members contribution required. Second phase, test design, primary role testers are team members, but test lead, guidance and control required. Next, test execution, same, primary role testers. Next, last one, test closure, primary role test lead, but all team members contribution required. See, domain knowledge. See, in our software industry, some domain, what is domain? Domain means an area. Our testing point of view, see, general definition, domain means an area. Our testing point of view, domain means our project business area. See, in the industry, largest domain in terms of revenue, BFSI. What is BFSI? BFSI stands for, Paramita, BFSI stands for?
Banking. Banking organization. Banking,
financial services and insurance. See, this is primary domain, largest domain in terms of revenue, nearly 38% revenue from this BFSI domain. See, banking, insurance, subdomains of BFSI. Banking, financial services and insurance. Next largest, actually largest domain in terms of volume, ERP, enterprise resource planning, industry automation. Next, what is the next largest domain? Mayank, guess. BFSI, ERP, next.
Telecom.
Yes, telecom.
Healthcare.
Next, healthcare. Telecom. Next, healthcare.
E-commerce.
Yes. Just a minute. Healthcare. Next.
E-commerce.
Next.
Insurance. That is
insurance covered in BFSI. Insurance subdomain of BFSI. Next, retail market nowadays.
Retail, right.
Next, others also there. Put mute. Others means suppose some gaming softwares, antivirus utilities, etc. Gaming software market
desktop
also very high. Yes. Okay. See,
all these. Sir, may I ask you, these applications like Adobe, Photoshop, Acrobat, Dreamweaver, these application software, they come in which category? Like
others,
which domain?
Utilities. See, some comes under documentation software. Suppose Acrobat Reader is there now, that is documentation software. Product.
Okay.
Software product. That's why I used others. See, under others, you can say some system software also. Suppose operating systems, products. Next, utilities. Utilities means suppose antivirus software, WinZip like ISO format converters, etc. Next, Acrobat Reader, documentation softwares, MS Office documentation softwares. Suppose accounting packages, Tally, Galley, Wings, Focus, etc. Accounting, others. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. You concentrate on these 6 domains enough. Any 4
Right,
domains
right.
also enough. Next, for manual tester or automation tester, put note. See, domain knowledge is required for all types of testers, manual testers or automated testers. But for automated testers, one more thing also required, that is programming knowledge. Programming knowledge. See, programming knowledge only for test automation, not for manual testing. In manual testing, only thinking, reasoning, documentation, and execution. No programming knowledge required. But in test automation, programming knowledge is required. Programming knowledge is only for test automation. Suppose if you want to use UFT, formerly QTP, VB script knowledge required. If you want to use Selenium, Java or Python or PHP or Ruby, any supported language. See, Selenium supports 6 programming languages. Most of the testers using Java. If you want to use Selenium, Java knowledge required. If you want to use UFT, VB script knowledge required. But for manual testing, no programming knowledge required. See, this is about overview of manual testing. Tell me, Ritu.
Sir, Sir, for Selenium, we need to know Java or JavaScript?
Java, not JavaScript. Java.
Okay, sir.
See, JavaScript knowledge also essential for Selenium, but we use Java for enhancing test cases. Java, okay, not JavaScript.
All right.
See, Selenium supports 6 languages. You can use any one. Can you tell me what are the 6 supporting languages of Selenium?
Perl, Python, Ruby,
PHP, and C#.NET. Java, C#.NET, Perl, Python, Ruby, and PHP. But most of the Selenium testers using Java.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Any queries, Paramita? Pardon?
Sir, which language is more easy? I mean, Java, Perl, Python. Which language is easy?
Actually, Java is better. Why? Nowadays, 77% Selenium testers using Java. If we use Java, you can get more help and documentation implementations from the internet. If you use Perl, Python, Ruby, other, less documentation and less support. Okay. Which is okay.
Okay.
Which is better? Mayank asking, which is better, Selenium or UFT? That is depends. UFT is vendor tool, supports desktop applications and web applications testing, but Selenium supports only web applications testing. But Selenium cross-platform, you can use Selenium on Unix operating environment, Windows operating environment, and Macintosh, but UFT only on Microsoft Windows. Okay, UFT and Selenium both are having advantages as well as disadvantages. Based on your project and based on your company strategy, you can select. Okay, any queries? Paramita Rai, Jahra?
Sir, what is...
Sir,
just a minute. Paramita, then...
Sir, can you just please explain a little bit like comprehensive testing? Just a small...
Comprehensive testing means complete testing. Executing all possible test cases. Suppose we prepared 900 test cases for our project. Sanity testing time, we select 30 or 35 test cases, basic functionality test cases for build verification. After accepting the build, we execute all possible test cases. All test cases. That is comprehensive testing, or you can say complete testing.
And then after that we make the defect.
Yes, yes. Just a minute. During comprehensive testing, if you find any defects, report defects. After fixing defects, once again confirmation testing, re and regression testing required. During regression testing also you can find other defects.
Yes.
Yes, defect reporting cycle practice. In comprehensive testing you find defects and report defects. During regression testing also you find defects and report defects.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. See. Tell me, Ritu.
Sir, what is the difference between alpha and beta testing?
See, that we will discuss later. See, now it is only roadmap. Alpha testing, beta testing, some test types in acceptance testing only.
Okay, sir.
Okay, that we will discuss later. This is only, I provide skeleton, only roadmap for our program. Okay. We'll meet next weekend, same time. Thank you.